Let's open a new document from the file new and put it to the 851 by 315 and resolution is 72. And let's zoom in by command 0 or control plus 0 in Windows, and let's select the move tool and we bring a guideline from the top bar and another guideline from the left hand side, and let's bring another guideline from the top bar and put it in the bottom line. And now let's select the toolbar and select the rectangular tool from the toolbar and drag and draw a shape, a rectangular shape in the document. And let's select the direct selection tool from the toolbox and let's select the top left corner of the shape and drag it to the left hand side. Again select the top right and drag it toward left hand side. Again left top corner and drag it downward. Again the top right hand corner and drag it to the little bit downward. And let's select again the top left and put it upward little bit. And let's drag and draw another rectangular shape in the document. And let's select the direct selection tool from the toolbar and select the top the bottom left corner and put it to the little bit right hand side. Again the top left corner and drag it to upward. Again select the top right hand corner and drag it to the upward. And let's select again the another layer, the rectangular one, and drag and select the top left corner of our previous shape, previous rectangular, and drag it to little bit left hand side. Again select the top right corner and move it to the leftward. Let's again select the top right corner, top left corner, and move it to the leftward. And select again from the layer the rectangular tool and select the top left corner and move it to leftward. Again top right corner and move it to the leftward a little bit. Again the top left corner and let's drag it to downward a little. Again top right corner and move it to the left downward a little bit. Select again the rectangular one shape and select the top left corner and move it to the downward little bit. Again top right corner and the bottom right corner. Again select the top and right corner of our previous shape and drag it to leftward a little bit. Let's again select the top left corner and drag it to upward a little. Let's now select the rectangular 2, our another shape from the layer, and select the top right corner and put it little bit upward. And now let's select again from the toolbar another rectangular shape and drag and draw another shape. And it would be our rectangular 3. And let's select the direct selection tool and select the bottom left corner and drag it to innerward. And let's match this shape with our previous shape, the rectangular 2. And let's select the top right corner and move it to the leftward. Again the top left corner and move it to the downward. Let's select again the top right hand corner and let's drag it to a little bit right side. Again let's select the bottom right corner and move little bit rightward. Again let's drag the bottom right corner and a little bit bottom left corner. Again we select the rectangular 2 from the layer panel, and we match it with our all the shape if we need accordingly, either it is right or left. And let's select the rectangular one and select the top left corner, and we just put here and there the shape to match, to look it in a nice shape. Again we select from the layer panel the rectangular 2, again select the rectangular 3 to match all of this shape to have a nice looking shape. And now let's we make it a groove. Select all the layer and press Ctrl G or Command G from the keyboard, and we make it a coffee by the Command J from the keyboard, and we make a coffee. And from the edit toolbar we select the transform horizontal and drag this three shape from left to right hand side. So we have the exact opposite of this coffee shape, and we can put this shape in the right hand side. So we have now the left and right hand side. Let's rename this groove as a left and right. Now let's select the left groove and select the rectangular one, and keep selecting this rectangular toolbox from the toolbar and give a border color, and let's make it 3 pixel the border color, and let's put the all the border with the same color. See the code from the hex code, and put all these three shape as a 3 pixel as the border, and select now all the right shape in the right group shape rectangular one, put the same color code, and the border would be the 3 pixel. Select now the rectangular 3 again and put the color, select the color and put the same color code, and the border would be the 3 pixel. So now we have the left group and right hand side group all the same color. Let's bring a background image in our canvas. Let's click and put the, let's drag and drop it to our main canvas, this shape. and let's drag it and put it behind this right and left groove, and transform it little bit by Ctrl plus T from the keyboard. Ctrl plus T, and let's hold a corner and drag it to make it a little smaller. Press enter, Ctrl plus enter in order to accept it, and let's resize it again, and press command plus 0 or Ctrl plus 0 in your keyboard to see the perfect size of this shape. And let's draw another shape, rectangular shape, in the middle of our canvas, and let's drag it to, and this layer should be put on the top of the background layer, and press the command plus T in order to transform it, and drag it toward the bottom line, and let's select the direct selection tool from the toolbar and select the bottom left corner of our this new rectangular shape, and to have the exact shape with our another shape in the left and right hand side. And select the bottom right hand corner and drag it, and also give this shape with this same color, and this border would be the 3 pixel as well. Let's bring a image from the folder, select and open with the Adobe Photoshop, and let's convert it to the smart object by clicking the right hand button and drag and drop it to the our main document, and just look in this layer 2 in the layer panel. It's just above the rectangular one. Keep it in the above rectangular one inside the left groove by pressing Ctrl plus T and resize this image, and check, put the check mark or Ctrl plus enter in order to accept it. Again press press the right hand button from the layer panel and select the clipping mask in order to clip this image inside this shape. Let's put again the Ctrl plus T and resize it to put it accordingly. Select the another image from the folder and bring it to our Photoshop document and drag it to our document, the one we work, and drop it here. And let's zoom out a little bit, and click the, let's bring this layer in the top of the rectangular 2 and click the right hand button and select the clipping mask. So this image will be clipped inside this our rectangular 2 shape. Let's press the Ctrl plus T and drag this image to resize and to be fit inside this rectangular 2 shape. And let's again we resize it to fit with our this rectangular 2 shape inside the left groove. Press OK. And now let's bring the another image from the folder, open with the Adobe Photoshop, and let's convert it to the smart object and drag it to our main document and drop it there, and bring this layer to top of the rectangular 3 shape, press the right hand button and select the create clipping mask. So this image will be clipped inside the rectangular tree shape. Now let's press the Ctrl plus T and resize this image. Let's again resize this image to fix with our rectangular tree shape and click OK from the toolbar. Now let's bring the another image from the folder. Let's open it. Open through Photoshop and convert it by the right click and convert it to the smart object and drag and drop it to the our main document and bring this layer, drop it to the right folder in the right groove and bring it top of the rectangular one. Click right hand mouse button and select the create clipping mask, so it would be clipped inside the rectangular one shape, and press Ctrl plus T in order to resize this image. Again Ctrl plus T in order to resize this image and press OK. Now let's bring the another image from the folder. Open it by the Photoshop and click the right hand button and select convert to smart object and drag and drop it to the our main document, and let's bring this layer to the top of the layer number 3 and click right hand button and put create clipping mask and Ctrl plus T to resize or command plus T in order to resize this image. And let's resize again in order to match it with our shape number rectangular number 3. And let's bend it to the right side and click OK in order to accept it. Let's bring the another image from our image folder. And let's make it convert to a smart object by clicking the right mouse button and drop it to our document, and make sure this image is above the rectangular 2 shape and press the right mouse button and select the create clipping mask in order to clip this image inside the rectangular 2 and press Ctrl plus T or command plus T in order to transform this image and click OK. So now we have this all the 6 images clipped inside this document.